Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're gonna see some footage today of us trying to pass the Inyo Mountains and go into Death Valley. Um, However, in February, especially this February, there was a lot of snowpack this year, and we had to deal with trying to get through that with a good amount of Jeeps, and most of us not really having a lot of snow driving experience. Also, the weather was icy, um, lending to not having good enough traction to be able to reach all the way through. So at one point, we did have to pack up and turn around and come back out the other way that you can see where it's a lot less snow as you start losing elevation um, back into the valley between the Sierras that you can see now and the Inyos that we were trying to cross. I'm going to talk about some of the history of the Inyo Mountains, and if there's enough time after, then we'll go ahead and put some music to accompany that as well. So, some of the geological history of the Inyo Mountains were that they were formed as part of the Basin and Range Province, a region of the United States characterized by mountain ranges separated by broad valleys. The mountains were uplifted by existential forces, resulting in a series of fault block mountains with steep eastern slopes and more gently sloping western flanks. And the range is composed primarily of sedimentary and volcanic rocks that were deposited during the Paleozoic and Mesozoic eras. The range is notable for its exposures of Triassic age rocks, which are rare in California. These rocks include Panamint Butte Formation, which is comprised of sandstone and shale, and the lower portion of the Wild Rose Formation, which is composed of volcanistic rocks. Some of the human history of the Inyo Mountains is that they have been inhabited by the indigenous peoples for thousands of years, mainly being the Owens Valley Paiute people. Uh, they relied on the natural resources of the mountains and the surrounding areas to sustain their way of life, and they lived in small groups and were skilled hunters and gatherers and used the mountains for food, shelter, and spiritual purposes. In the 1800s, the European Americans began to move into the Owens Valley, and conflicts between the new settlers and the indigenous people soon erupted. And in 1863, the U.S. Army established Fort Independence to control the Paiute people and protect the new settlements. The Army was forcibly removed. The Army also forcibly removed many Paiute people to reservations where they were subjected to forced assimilation and other abuses. In the mid-1800s, the Inyo Mountains became the site of a major mining boom. Rich deposits of silver, lead, and other metals were discovered in the area, leading to the development of several mining towns. The largest of those being Cerro Gordo, which at its peak was home to several thousand people. The boom was short-lived, however, and by the early 1900s, most of the mines had closed and the towns were largely abandoned. Today, the Inyo Mountains are a popular destination for outdoor recreation, including hiking, rock climbing, and off-road driving. The area is also home to several unique and rare plant and animal species and is protected as part of the Inyo National Forest and Inyo Mountains Wilderness. So what you're seeing here is us making way. The snow is starting to get a little deeper. Um, all of our vehicles, except for I believe just one of them, are far from stock. Most of them have 37-inch tires, 2, 3, 5-inch lifts. Most of them have lockers, and we believe they're fairly capable vehicles, and we thought that we would be able to reach the other end of the Inyo mountain range. However, as you can see here, traction was lacking severely. We had to keep trying to pack the snow down and trying to move forward, but seems to be that it was going to be almost impossible to get all the way through as the snow continued to get deeper and deeper. So we abandoned plan and headed out the other way, and then we moved over to Alabama Hills, which will be the next video. So I'll go ahead and put some music on, and I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of this video. Thanks for tuning in.